I thought I could go over what's going to be expected of you as a position player at separate levels, but generally speaking across all levels. Because I think a lot of you guys are getting bad information out there.
Level. This is why.
Okay, so I did a video a couple days ago about pitching and what the expectation should be at each level of division in college baseball about velo. And obviously you guys got the message. Velocity is one part of an equation that has about 10 variables in it when you're evaluating a pitcher. Well, the same is true for position players. And I thought I could go over what's going to be expected of you as a position player at separate levels, but generally speaking across all levels. Because I think a lot of you guys are getting bad information out there. So first off, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you watch all our videos, please hit the subscribe button. If this video brings you a lot of value, hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And again, if you're looking for help in the recruiting process, scan the QR code or go to our website, Elite Sports Advising, fill out a form. We'll meet with you and talk about what we do, where you could potentially end up. So guys, with position players, the number one thing that guys are looking at first is your bat, okay? I mean, this is across all divisions, okay? And we'll break it down a little bit later after this, but your bat. Now, what does the bat entail? Bat means at what kind of, are you professional, control the strike zone? Power and hit tool. All right, these are what most schools are looking for. I can promise you right now, no one cares what your exit velocity is in BP or off a tee or at the local showcase you go to. That's great. It shows kind of a general spot of where you're at with your bat speed and what you could potentially be. But if in the game you have great bat speed but you can't make contact, no one cares. It's like the guy who throws 95 and he walks 3 batters an inning. You may get a shot somewhere just because you throw 95, but after your first outing and you walk 3 guys, you're not ever getting back in. The same is true with a bat who you may be able to launch bombs in BP, but no one cares if you get in the game and you can't put the ball in play. It's the same thing on the pitcher side as is on the hitter side. Okay, so controlling the strike zone. Do you look like you have an approach at the plate? Do you look like you have an idea of what you're trying to do when you step in the box? Power, obvious. Does the power actually play in the game? Again, you may be hitting at 105 in BP, but if in the game you're batting 250 and you got 1 home run on the year, no one cares. So that's what I think a lot of you guys out there, because all the stuff on Instagram and all the stuff on social media, you take a video of yourself hitting BP, and again, it's a BP fastball. It's right down the middle. It's not game-like at all. And you hit it 100 off the bat, and you think, oh, every school's going to be interested now. It's the same as a guy that throws a bullpen and hits 95, 93 in the bullpen, and like I said, can't throw strikes. Again, that may get eyes on you, but if you cannot show up in the game with that kind of power, you're not going anywhere. No school's offering you based off a video of you taking BP and hitting 100 on exit velocity or 102, whatever it may be. When I was in high school, I probably was tough for me to break 90, just to be honest. But I could really hit. I put the ball in the barrel a bunch, and that's why I ended up playing at Georgia Tech all 3 years, having a great career. Now, hit tool. This was me. Hit tool. When you're in the game, are you able to manipulate the barrel? Can you find a way to make contact? With 2 strikes, can you fight off pitches until you get a mistake and get a base hit? Are you hitterish in the box? Right? If you swing and miss 40% of the time, you don't have a hit tool. If you strike out all the time, you don't have a hit tool. If you don't control the strike zone, you don't have a hit tool. The hit tool is kind of the all-encompassing thing. You control the strike zone, you take your walks when you want it, but when you get good pitches to hit, you put the barrel on it. Not, swing and miss, and all of a sudden you end up striking out. These are the most important things when it comes to your bat that colleges are looking for. Because they have to know you can come in and offensively produce. It's very rare now. At every level, every school is different, but they're looking for everybody at every position to come in and contribute offensively. Especially at the high levels of Division I, you have to be a guy that they can project that he's going to be at least a 300 hitter that hits for some power. Now more than ever, if you're a guy, I'll give you an example. Aaron Judge, his junior year of college in 2013, so my junior year as well, the dead ball era of college baseball from 2011 to 2014, where no one hit home runs. Aaron Judge hit 12 home runs his junior year. Okay, that's how different the environment was when I was playing to now, where every team in the country has a couple guys with 20 bombs. And do you guys out there think that that kid that hits 20 bombs in college now has more power than Aaron Judge? Because that's what I get on Instagram. A lot of guys tell me, well, these kids are stronger now. They got better swings. I always tell them, weight room existed when I played. It existed 10 years ago. So it's not that guys didn't have as much power 10 years ago. It's that the balls were dead. The bats had just got changed to BB core. The technology was terrible. And so now more than ever, schools are looking for guys, because if you got average power, and I mean average as in not major league average. I just mean average for a high school player, average for a college player. You're going to hit 10 plus. You're going to hit 10 plus. It's that easy now. Ball is flying more than it was when it was the BESR bats. And we all know the reason everything changed is because those bats were so crazy. So you have to have some kind of power. Now, again, if you have an elite carrying tool like speed or something like that, or you're an elite defender, you don't need to have that average power. Certainly I didn't have that kind of power when I was in high school. But I had the elite carrying tool of speed and defense. And so I could really impact the game. I didn't have to hit the ball over the fence or into the gap to impact the game. I could get on first. I could steal. I could hustle doubles and balls that fell into the gap. I was going to get a triple every time it got to the wall. So that speed made it to where I didn't need that power tool. But okay, let's get into what the other aspects are that you need. Okay, let's go mentality here. Okay, so mentality. When you strike out or when you give up 3 runs in an inning, how do you handle it? Are you a guy that you're going to be down and whining and pouting because you had a bad outing? Or are you able to say, you know what, can't do anything about it, I'm going to go get him my next at bat, or I'm going to go back out there this next inning and throw up a 0. Those are the guys that can do that are guys that end up being successful. I've never seen one guy, and I mean that, I've never seen anyone in this game ever who is bad at dealing with failure and make it long term. Never one. You're going to deal with failure so often in this game, if you can't handle it, it's just going to eat you alive, and next guy's going to get an opportunity and you're done. And that goes for every position, whether it's a pitcher or a position player. So how do you handle, are you tough? How do you handle failure? I'm really picking long things to write here. If you are not these things, start doing tough things. Like, this is the thing, I do think some people are just born with better mental toughness than others. There's no question about that. I think a lot of it's environment. Were you, as a kid, and for you guys out there, did mom and dad make an excuse for you every time something didn't go your way? Or did they say, you know what? That's on you. Like, you got to work harder. Hey, you messed up. That's fine. Everyone does that. Or did they say, oh, it wasn't your fault. The coach just doesn't like you. Or, your shortstop made that error in the 3rd inning, and that's the reason. The guys that, like, their parents make excuses for every time they don't do well, they don't have success, those are the guys that, come conditioning tests or conditioning days and after the fall season's over, those are the guys that everyone's yelling at because they're making them run more laps because they can't push through tough situations. They've never been allowed to deal with a tough situation. The parents or whoever else in an environment have made it to where they don't have to deal with that. And so they get on a college campus, they're doing half laps, and they're on their 8th one, and they can't make the time while everyone else in the team can because they don't know how to deal with that. So not only is mental toughness going to make you able to be friends and have other guys that respect you on the team, but it's also going to help you when you are dealing with failure. I see a lot of guys, you're really cocky out there when you hit pimp a home run or when you strike out a guy and you do your little strut off the mound. But as soon as some adversity hits, all of a sudden that you stop running your mouth. You're not flaunting everything and pimping stuff, and all of a sudden you take it into the next at bat. You take it into your next outing on the mound, and you fall apart. So this is even more important. This is probably the most important thing, but again, this is also the hardest thing. This is the hardest thing to judge. So it's the hardest thing to evaluate as a recruiter because sometimes you just may not see enough to really know. You're going to talk to coaches, you're going to talk to people around him, but again, you're never going to truly know how tough a kid is. And the other thing is guys in high school, if they're talented enough to go to a big-time program, they're not going to face high enough competition on a regular basis to where they experience failure on a regular basis. A pitcher that throws 92 in high school is going to dominate majority of the time no matter how tough he is. But when he gets to college and that talent all of a sudden gets way better and everyone on the team the talent is much closer, that's when you see it. So number 3. So mentality is going to be the most important thing over your course of your career because how are you going to deal with, you get up to another level in pro ball and it's tough all of a sudden. How do you deal with that? The bat is, one, not easy to evaluate because guys make mistakes on guys all the time, but you can at least see that pretty objectively every time you go see a guy play. You can't do that with mentality. 3 is the defensive stuff, and I want to make a caveat. Defensively, a lot of you guys are so below average defensively, it is almost disgusting to watch when I go watch travel ball games. I'll tell you this, I've sat with numerous coaches all summer, this summer, and every time the first thing we talked about is just how bad the defense is and the baseball IQs, and just knowing where to throw the ball, knowing what the situation is and what that means and what that dictates for your position. It's atrocious. Please get around a coach or somebody that teaches you in this situation, this is what the objective is. Or with a runner on second and it's a base hit into center field and you have no chance of throwing him out, at least throw it to the cutoff man. Please do not sail it and just let the guy run into second. The state of the game, especially in high school, that we see in travel ball on a daily basis, every coach I talk to, it's like you see 3 misplays every inning. And obviously that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but if you did that over the stretch, over on average per game, you're seeing probably a couple per inning. One inning there's going to be 6, one inning there's going to be 0, but you're seeing so many guys that they have no idea what to do with the baseball when it's hit to them, except for no outs, nobody on, ground ball to short. Oh, you know how to throw it to second. You know how to throw it to first. But outfielders, no idea how to throw in front of a runner, through a cutoff, or maybe throw behind a runner when he's a little too aggressive. There's just the baseball IQ is almost non-existent, and you see that across baseball, especially in spring training. A lot of player development heads are now saying, when we draft a guy, no matter if he's out of college or pro ball or high school, we operate under the assumption that he has 0 baseball IQ. You're drafting professional baseball players, and it's so bad even at that level, they have to operate under the assumption that you coming in have 0 baseball IQ. So you have no idea where to throw the ball with runners on first and second and 1 out and a ball hit down the line and you're up by 4 runs. You have no idea where to throw the ball. You have no idea where to throw the ball in the outfield if there's a runner on first and second and there's a base hit and you're up by 3 runs. Do you throw the guy at the plate? Or do you try to keep the double play in order? That's a quiz for you guys. Do you try to keep the double play in order do you care about 1 run scoring when you're up by 3 late in the game? Or do you care about keeping that double play in order? Because what most of you guys in travel ball will do is try to sail it for a coach there and show off the arm strength, and they're just sitting there thinking, oh, his arms look great, but keep the double play in order. We get out of the inning if we get a ground ball. So that's the stuff that's missing. Defensively, at least average at your position. And my handwriting is getting worse as the video goes on. you guys have heard me say this a bunch, but there's that old adage, like, if your bat's good enough, they'll find a spot for you. Well, the problem is most of you guys are so bad defensively, it doesn't matter how good your bat is, you're all competing for a DH position. So only one of you can play. The facts are that in college baseball, every error that's made, every walk that's made, that guy almost always comes around to score. Like, giving up free 90 feet to your opponent is so detrimental in the college game, and professional game, it's not as big of a deal. One, because guys really can miss bats, so they're striking out a lot of guys. So the walk, you may walk a guy, but you're going to strike out a guy, pop up, strike out another guy. Pro ball, it's just not, or in college, it's just not the case. Guys aren't missing enough bats just because stuff's not as good, obviously, as it is in the major leagues. But also the defenses are so much worse in college than even in professional baseball, like high A, double A level. The differences are so stark that, I remember coming back from my first year in pro ball and seeing a ground ball hit in college and thinking, God, he's out. And the shortstop doesn't even get to the ball and it gets in the outfield. That's how 1 year of pro ball had just made me think, oh, that's an easy out. And it was a base hit. Guy didn't even get to it. So in college, free 90 feet, a walk or an error, and the defense is already bad, now it's so much more work on the pitcher to try to get out of an inning. So you've got to be at least average defensively at your position. For if you're a really good bat, just be average at your position at least, man. You guys work so much in the cage. That's great. But if you worked equally as much on your defense, you could be like a stud All-American type player. That's how bad some of these guys are now. You want to be an All-American? Just work as hard on your defense as you do on your hitting. Like, that's literally the difference. Some of the guys I see are so bad defensively, and they're playing shortstop or center field on a good travel ball team, it's scary. It's so easy now to separate yourself as a baseball player. Be as nasty on defense as you are in the box, and you're going to have a lot of success. Defensively, again, versatility as well. Now more than ever, with the 34-man roster coming in this 2025 fall, the more versatile you are. I don't care if you're an elite defender at your position, guys. Remember, you're trying to fight for playing time as a freshman. And there may be a stud in front of you when you get on campus. And if you can only play that one position, you're going to sit the bench unless that guy falls on his face or another guy gets injured. So make sure, no matter if you're a center fielder, you're a shortstop, unfortunately, if you're like me and a left-handed thrower, it's like you had 3 spots. You had 3 outfield positions you could play. Thanks a lot, Dad. Even though I probably was a left-handed thrower, natural thrower, but I think my dad wanted a left-handed pitcher. Now, versatility, if you're a right-handed thrower, man, get out there and take ground balls in the infield. Take fly balls in the outfield. Shoot, get some reps catching if you're a catcher. If you're a catcher and you can get solid at third base, solid at second base, and you can play corner outfield, so much better for you guys. Only 1 spot on the field for catchers. So just the more versatile you are, guys, the better chance you have of playing as a freshman. It's so much easier now to really stand out on the field defensively. It's so much easier. All kids in this generation care about is hitting. Every once in a while I see a guy that's like a really good defender, and he looks like he should be playing in the big leagues because you're so often seeing kids that are so below average that even the kid who's like an above average defender, he looks like he's a plus defender. He looks like he's a 70 grade defender in the big leagues because you see it so little. I hope this helped, guys. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. This is what guys at every level of college baseball are looking for. They're looking for this with your bat, tough mentality, and defensively, again, at least average at your position. If you're a shortstop or a center fielder, they're looking for an elite defender at those positions. Just because center fielder, you got to cover so much ground, you got to get great jumps, you got to be able to run. Shortstop, we all know why. So let me know what you think. Again, if you're looking for help, scan the QR code, go to our website. We'll meet with you, talk about what we can do. Appreciate all the support. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Helps us with the algorithm. And let me know what you think of this. Maybe you think I'm dead wrong. I promise you I'm not, but maybe you think I'm dead wrong. Let me know why I am. Any questions you have, put them in the comments. I'll answer them. Again, guys, you want to separate yourself. You want to separate yourself from everybody in your class. Work as hard as you do on hitting as you do on defense. you will be a totally different player and head and shoulders above everyone in your class right now. Thanks. We'll be back in another video tomorrow.